Hey Intuit, this is John Jarrett, the Folkaholic. Congratulations on folding such an amazing collection, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 30 years.
Is there a way to get unmuted? Oh, no?
I unmuted you. One.
And then what happened?
We do.
Welcome to Intuit, the Center for Intuitive and Outsider Arts 2021 Visionary Ball. My name is Benissa Cohen.
And I'm Ralph Concepcion.
And we're honored to be this year's Visionary Ball co-chairs.
We're standing inside Intuit, located in Chicago's West Town. Intuit is a premier museum of outsider and self-taught art. Intuit defines outsider art as art created by artists who didn't, or sometimes couldn't, follow a traditional path of art making, using materials at hand to realize their artistic vision. Intuit's mission is grounded in the ethos that art can be found anywhere and made by anyone. The instinct to create is universal, and the arts must embrace, represent, and be accessible to all.
Intuit offers world-class exhibitions, a collection of 1,200 artworks, a range of public learning events such as the One Night Stand series and Art After Work, a summer teen program, and an award-winning teacher fellowship program. You also may know Intuit as the home of the Henry Darger Room Collection, which celebrates one of the most significant outsider artists in the world.
You know, I first was introduced to Intuit at the Emery Blandon show at the 1800 North Clybourne. That was, I think, in 1990. Where did you get introduced to Intuit? Do you remember?
Well, I do remember. I was connected to Intuit through Deb, who's the current CEO of Intuit. And I remember when I first visited Intuit, you know, art museums can be overwhelming. Sometimes they can be intimidating. And I remember walking into this space and feeling very welcomed. And it was just very accessible. The other thing is, I do remember my first visit, there was an exhibit from CPS students. And I thought, wow, what a beautiful thing, what a wonderful thing that at such a young age, students would have their work displayed at a museum. Yeah. What message is that sending? And I thought it was a wonderful one.
It's fantastic. It's from the Teacher Fellowship Program, one of the most successful programs here at Intuit. At tonight's Visionary Ball, We'll celebrate the past 30 years and the next 30 years to come. We'll reflect on the programs that connected and inspired us, programs that highlighted artists like Inez Nathaniel Walker, who began making art in prison, and Bill Traylor, who after being born into slavery, in his 80s began making art on the streets of Montgomery, Alabama, and of course many more. Their artworks change us, inspire us, and allow us to see the world in a new light.
And with your help, we'll make another year of programming possible. Tonight's goal is to raise $100,000 to create opportunities for art enthusiasts, families, teachers, and students in Chicago, around the country, and throughout the world. We want them to experience the richness and profound nature of outsider art. Next, you'll meet tonight's host and Intuit members, Techie Lomnicki and John Baranowski, who will introduce how you can make a difference tonight.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy Visionary Ball 2021.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Welcome. Tonight, our goal is to raise $100,000. Thanks to tonight's generous Visionary Ball sponsors, we are already on our way with $55,000 already raised. Yes, let's round of applause for that. I'm John Bernowski, friend of Intuit and art enthusiast.
And I'm Techie Lomnicki, the artistic director of Tell and Tales Theater and friend of Intuit. You know, Johnny, you know why I love Intuit so much? It like captures the hearts and the souls of people young and old. I mean, we rehearse in the performance area here. We've done it for like 5 years for our 6 Stories Up program, which is a middle school mentoring program. And sometimes when I can't find the kids, I'm like, where are they? I hope they haven't run across the street to CVS. But no, I catch them in one of the rooms looking at the art. Every piece tells a story, and it's like for them a double whammy of theater and art.
It brings people together, no doubt. Intuit is a place that brings community and people together for a purpose, and they become lifelong friends. And they also have a lifelong love of art. And that's why we're here. We need your help to achieve that tonight. So let's make Intuit's 30th year something very, very special. Okay, so donate or bid at auction. We recommend that you open the Visionary Ball website address in a web tab on your computer or even your smartphone. The Visionary Ball website is www.bidpal.net/Intuit. Visionary Ball Helper will put that website URL in the chat for you.
Now go ahead and log into the Visionary Ball site now. A sign in using your email, Facebook account, or Google account is required to register, bid on auction, and make donations. A secure payment processor keeps your payment information confidential, so don't worry. On the Visionary Ball website, select the menu icon to access the donate button or browse now button to view and bid on silent auction items. If you need help, feel welcome to call a Visionary Ball helper anytime throughout the program at 312-624-9487.
Thanks, Techie. Before we move on, we are thrilled to recognize the Visionary Ball sponsors that made tonight's event and Intuit programs possible. We'd like to give a thank you to Jean Ruddy and Victor Keene, Janet and Greg Joshua,
Ashley and Mike Joyce, Jean and Louis Goldblatt.
John Jarrett, who encourages you to check out his website, thefolkaholic.com. Deb Carr, Steve Thompson.
Jan Petrie, Douglas Robson.
Robert A. Roth.
Joanne Segrin and Scott Lang. Janet Williams and Ralph Concepcion.
Chicagoland's Wine and Cocktail Party, who coordinated tonight's Party in Place drink packages, Cutwater Spirits, and, checking, Raymond's Wood Events, and AV Chicago.
Thank you all for your contributions. Next, get ready. We are going to experience a taste of the European tour that Intuit's recent exhibition, Chicago Calling, Art Against the Flow, embarked upon.
To send these artists to represent the kind of spirit of Chicago art making, inclusivity in the art community, and just such great work was it was a huge gift and surprise for us. I think we didn't know from the get-go that the show would travel.
Intuit is proud to be touring its exhibition, Chicago Calling, Art Against the Flow, and its accompaniment, Chicago We Own It, to 4 partner museums in Europe. This exhibition tells the story of Chicago's early acceptance and enthusiasm for the genre of outsider art through 10 artists. This enthusiasm is the reason Intuit even is in Chicago. The exhibit was originally developed for Art Design Chicago 2018. This was a concept developed by the Terra Foundation for American Art and supported along with its presenting partner, the Richard H. Driehaus Foundation. They are helping us tour our exhibition to All Saint-Pierre in Paris, the Kunsthaus Kaufbeuren in Germany, Collection de l'Art Brut in Lausanne, and now at the Outsider Art Museum in Amsterdam. All wonderful partners and friends.
We were really excited in the process of bringing these 10 artists in various groupings together in tableaus, because in the process, it became more clear how the artists, with the exception of Henry Darger, all 9 of the other artists really dealt with the art culture of the city on their own terms.
The exhibition for me is part of a very long continuum and relationship with both Intuit and the whole definition and sorting out of what visionary and, for lack of a better term, outsider art is in Chicago, and it's the importance of the city itself.
It's also really an incredible opportunity to showcase what we all feel are 10 absolutely classic artists in Chicago of great diversity.
We're so delighted to be part of this tour. I know you have your sponsors, and I think we're also extremely thankful to them that they enabled you to show this magnificent collection in Amsterdam at the Outsider Art Museum at the Hermitage in the Netherlands. It's great.
This combination of older positions, traditional positions, and contemporary positions was very good. And our visitors were quite amazed to see outsider art because of its uniqueness, and it's not following any trends, it's not following academic traditions. They just do it because there is something in their soul that they want to express. And people react to that in a very direct way.
And it was quite a success. And then when we could reopen in June, we were able, thanks to you and to all our partners, to extend the show until the 1st of November. So finally, we had a very nice quantity of visitors who were able to see the show.
Chicago Calling itself was an incredible show, and the opportunity for people abroad to see this really, top-rate selection of Chicago artists, some of Chicago's greatest artists, just is inherently exciting.
So it's a wondrous opportunity. It's amazing that it took place, and I hope more will take place after this.
Thank you, Intuit friends, who shared those kind words about those members of the Intuit family who championed outsider art and Intuit during their lives.
Hey, Johnny.
Yes?
Guess what? We reached a milestone, $67,000.
$67,000, yay!
And that's why I'm wearing my tiara. Did you bring yours?
Of course I brought my tiara. I brought it and I'm gonna wear it because I'm celebrating your support for Intuit. Thank you so much. You know, I'm gonna read some of the donors who have donated so far. Janet Carl Smith and Mel Smith, Nancy Anschel, Barbara Manning, William Carr, Vesna Stelzer, Jean Long, Josh Maker, Shannon Stratton, Andrew Archie, and Lorena Weirsom. Thank you so much. Thank you, donors. Thank you to all who've donated so far. I just think that Intuit is such an important organization, don't you, Techie?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, it's so wonderfully accessible. I love how Intuit champions people that are outside of the norm and actually celebrates them. When I was a kid, I wanted to take art lessons. We didn't have them in school. And so my mom, bless her heart, found a famous artist in our hometown who had a picture in the Louvre. And so mom like brought me over to meet her, and she called my mother and she said, I'm sorry, I can't teach her because my studio's in the basement and she walks on crutches. So mom convinced her to teach me at the kitchen table. You gotta love moms and you gotta love Intuit.
And you have to love art. So just a reminder how to donate or bid. Just use your smartphone or your computer. Use the Visionary Ball website address at www.bidpal.net/Intuit. What do you got going here? Talk about welcoming. We want to welcome everyone to bid.
Using your smartphone or computer, as Johnny said, on the Visionary Ball website, select the menu icon to access the donate button or browse now button. And if you need help, feel welcome to call an Intuit helper at 312-624-9487. Now, right behind us, this is silent auction item number 19, a drawing by artist Saint Ohm, also known as Eddie Owens Martin, donated by Carl Hammer. And I have to tell you, I looked him up and there's some fabulous YouTube videos about him and his work. I recommend going there. Not now though.
Good evening. I'm Lou Greenblatt, and I've been a friend to Intuit and a supporter for almost 30 years. It is my very special honor to introduce Lisa Stone, who really truly does not need an introduction. As a personal note, I've known Lisa for over 30 years when I purchased the estate of von Bruchenheim. Since then, she has been a dear friend, a mentor, and a consultant, and I think the world of her. In her 40 years working in the field of non-mainstream art, Lisa has demonstrated a gift for heightening awareness and appreciation for this genre. Lisa's many roles have included the curator of the Roger Brown Study Collection, a faculty member of the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and a curator of several signature exhibitions at Intuit. But when you really stop to appreciate each of Lisa's accomplishments and her background, you recognize that most of all, she has shined a light on many self-taught artist geniuses, making their work accessible to numerous and diverse audiences. As widely renowned as Lisa's work is right here at Intuit, in the Midwest is where you'll find some of her best testaments to her expertise and skill. She authored the Historic Preservation Plan and Report for the Dr. Charles Smith's African American Heritage Museum and Black Veterans in Aurora, Illinois, and served as the Preservation Project Coordinator of Fred Smith Wisconsin Concrete Park for 30 years, as well as chaired the Friends of Fred Smith's Conservation Committee. She's been a tireless advocate for artist-built environments that range from personal to sacred narratives. Her efforts are a gift to both the artists who created these sites, the visitors who continually to find beauty in them, and her inspiration by the vision of artists who work beyond the confines of their circumstances, driving her passion for making innovative art available to all. Please join me in congratulating this year's Visionary Awardee, Lisa Stone. Congratulations, Lisa.
And we have a special gift for Lisa. I'm so pleased to introduce David Lee Sisko, artist who has worked with Intuit for several years to create beautiful portraits of our Visionary Award winners. David Lee Sisko.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lou and Deb and Intuit board members. I am so honored and humbled to be in the august cohort of Visionary Awardees. It's just an amazing group, and Lou said a lot about things that I've done over the years, but mostly I've really just wanted to connect with the most meaningful art of our time, which I always find here at Intuit. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been 30 years since that June evening in 1991. I left Carl Hammer Gallery where I was working and wandered over to this gathering of artists, dealers, collectors, educators. It seemed like a stretch then, if we were even imagining what would be 30 years later, that this collective desire for a center of gravity around work that comes from many art worlds, except the one that calls itself the art world, and that would become the museum that we are today, or that Intuit is today. So here we are. We didn't get here all at once. As I kind of think of it, Intuit's evolution, we started out crawling, got through, survived our adolescence and rebellious teens. Those were fun years. In our 20s, we really kind of knuckled down and matured, but always kept this kind of irreverent mode of being, taking the art seriously, but always taking risks. And I remember back in 2005, Ruth Kohler was the Visionary Leadership Awardee. And in her remarks, she stood up and proclaimed, "Intuit is small but mighty." And I think, actually I know, if Ruth was here today, she would be saying, "Intuit is right-sized, rock solid, and badass." So, I also was so moved last year when Lonnie Holly, the phenomenal artist and really, really soulful human being, was the Visionary Award recipient. And in his interview for the gala, he talked about justice. And he sort of used the metaphor of talking about blind justice and asking, is that a good thing? Should justice be blind, or should justice have a seeing eye dogs? Should justice have a cane? What if justice fell off the curb and was killed? And it was so powerful. So I just want to say how truly impressed I am and have been about how Intuit has been dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion straight on, especially in this past year. Not as buzzwords, because they are buzzwords, but Intuit performs it as an imperative and it grounds the work here. So I'm especially proud to be part of Intuit's sphere, to be part of this community, and I'm really excited about the next 30 years. So thank you so much.
Hey Lisa, Ken Burkhardt here. Congratulations, my visionary friend.
Hi, this is Gabrielle Christensen, and I just want to congratulate Lisa Stone on winning Intuit's Visionary Award this year.
Jim Zanzi here, and congratulations to Lisa Stone.
Hi, I'm Zach Bleicher, and on behalf of everyone at Edgar Miller Legacy, we want to wish you, Lisa, a hearty congratulations.
Congratulations, Lisa Stone, on receiving the Intuit Visionary Award from James Conley and everybody at the Roger Brown Study Collection.
She's creative, kind, generous, and boundlessly energetic. She's one of the most important people in our field, and it's been a privilege and a pleasure that she has done so much with and for Intuit and for many of us.
Hi, Lisa. It's Carl Hammer, your once upon a time employer. That you are receiving this recognition speaks volumes of your commitment and dedication to the arts and to Chicago as well.
I, like many others, owe my obsession with self-taught and vernacular art to Lisa and her work. So thank you and congratulations, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for all that you continue to do for the arts.
Nobody more deserving than you.
In 1991, when Intuit was founded, many Chicagoans had no idea about outsider art and what that even was. And here 30 years later, because of this wonderful museum, that is changing, not just in Chicago, but around the world.
It's pretty amazing, actually. We could never imagine that, that humble beginning where we were borrowing galleries. We had no location, but we would take empty gallery spaces or donated spaces for our exhibits, 1 or 2 a year before we got our permanent location. But I don't think any of us imagined that, we would have this major national organization 30 years later.
I think Intuit and its mission is constantly evolving, and I think the impact over the years is going to continue to change. I've certainly seen it change in the 15 years I've been on the board. It's much more, we talk about work done outside the mainstream, but it feels a lot more mainstream to me now. It's much more present in the general art community, and I think Intuit will just continue to advance that, but make progress with that, educating, teaching, exposing people to things they might not see in a traditional museum or gallery.
Well, I mean, from nothing to kind of being a cultural force in this realm, and now to these recent expansions in these past few years, there's no question that, the proof is in the pudding. It's like, it's there. Things are happening.
We are launching a major capital campaign to renovate this building, to bring it up to museum standards so that the art we show will be just as cared for as the art at any major museum, and hope to expand our audience by having more opportunity and spaces to show the work and advocate for these artists. And, the future looks bright.
Intuit has been so creative this last year with the pandemic by making all of their programming virtual.
The access to virtual programming has kept me sane. It's kept me creative. It's kept myself, my family, friends that I invite and share the information with. Just what a tremendous way to stay in touch and continue to support. How tremendous. And I've also really enjoyed learning from the different educators and facilitators that have been part of this.
If that isn't the purest form of art, is create where there existed nothing before and make yourself vocal. I don't know what is.
I mean, this country, and I guess the world as well, some of the art comes from outside the country, but this country is such a cacophony, and there's so many locales and cultures that are brewing all over the place that we can't even imagine. So I feel like this art, you can't say it's about one thing, but in a lot of ways, it's really, if I could summarize, it's about the center and the periphery.
Yeah, I think that when you think about donating to Intuit, you should think about the people that it will touch. I think like a lot of times in art, it's such a place of privilege. And then when we think about outside of artists and the outside of art community, it just like isn't, sadly. And I think that when you donate to Intuit, you know you're donating to a cause or a movement.
Well, you know, I mean, again, after this pandemic, I'm sort of, as I'm talking to you, and viewers can't see all the art around me necessarily right now, but I'm a little overwhelmed at all the art that's going on, and it's just great to see and to be reminded of the delightfulness of this. I mean, the tangibility and the physical kind of like, as a sculptor, you know, I respond to that tactile nature of things, and it's so present.
In many ways, Intuit is really in a great position right now today to have a much bigger impact in the future going forward. So Intuit has got a bright future in so many ways, building on the legacy of the work that's been done over the last 30 years.
It's Techie and Johnny, and we have another update. So far, we've raised $91,000. Thank you for your generous donations. Techie, are you ready? Because we have to put our boas on, because we love dressing for success, for Intuit success. How about we read some of those names of
the significant donors? Yes. Jean Lambin, Marjorie Heil, Rob Lentz, hi Rob, Nancy Grant and Stephen Gray, Jack Stavros, Frank Maresca, Blair Goldman, Carrie Kennedy, Diane Gutenhoff, Chad Graff, Kristen Nesbitt, Mary May, James Connolly, Michelle Woods, Robert Bernier, Annalie Wetzel, David Montagano, Jessica Wayne, and last but not least, Janet Franz and William Switslow. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd love to mention the amazing Intuit programs that you will be sponsoring. Teacher Fellowship Program, Intuit Teen Youth Programs, public learning events, and monthly art workshops.
Johnny, that's Art After Work, a monthly virtual workshop series, usually led by a teaching artist targeted at millennials.
Oh, do you think they would let us in?
They'll never know.
What you should know is donate or bid. Thank you so much. Please stay tuned. We have several more exciting videos and a special surprise guest at the end of our broadcast.
Hello, my name is Myra Palafox. I am a museum educator at the Smart Museum of Art, and I am a frequent teaching artist with Intuit and have worked with the Intuit teams. About a year ago, Intuit's manager of learning and engagement, Paula Santos, invited me to facilitate an Art After Work session, and she said I could choose from any artist of Intuit's collection. I chose Martin Ramirez because I was struck by his work, the repetitive lines, and iconic images. Ramirez was also born in Mexico and immigrated to the US. I too was born in Mexico and studied art, and I naturally identified with his story, his work, his passion for creating, and his sense of belonging or not belonging. In the months leading up to my Art After Work session, I saw repeatedly that museums around Chicago and around the country were struggling to keep arts programming alive as a result of COVID. In addition, there was a civil unrest as police brutality and injustice towards people of color was at the forefront of conversation. So many of us experienced sadness, fear, pain, and loneliness. My Art After Work session took place at 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 18th. Art After Work is a monthly art-making series, historically held in person with an attendance of about 25 people. But since COVID, it transitioned online, like other Intuit learning programs. To my surprise, nearly 50 people joined me on Zoom for my session. And because it was online, I was joined by people not just in Chicago, but throughout the country. I started the session by sharing some background on Martin Ramirez. I described how after getting arrested and being sent to a mental institution, he began creating art. I described his artistic process, how he created patterns of lines, and how he often incorporated trains or cowboys or rancheros into his work. Then I led the art making activity. The session finished with participants proudly holding their artworks to the screen. At least one person said they had never considered themselves artists and were surprised at what they had accomplished. People clearly felt proud, excited, and grateful. Everyone felt comfortable sharing with each other, and that made the session feel very real and intimate. Since then, I facilitated other Intuit learning programs. I enjoy helping audiences build an emotional connection between themselves and that artist's life. At my session about Martin Ramirez, 50 people left that session having seen the world through Ramirez's eyes. And if they're like me, that experience will shape how they perceive the world. This past year, Intuit's work was a testament to the importance of creating community. It is a place where everyone can feel immersed in the moment and can share with others with openness and care. I am so proud of Intuit for always going above and beyond to be thoughtful and intentional about the programs. I look forward to my next Art After Work session on June 17th, inspired by artist Manny Evans. But mostly, I look forward to another chance to spark more emotional connections that will build a more thoughtful, caring world.
This is a program that any class that has been able to work with it is really excited. It's something that has really deeply allowed my students to dive deep into their own creativity.
The Teacher Fellowship Program is a one-year fellowship for Chicago public school teachers. They partner up and they're in different disciplines. So you have an art teacher with a social studies teacher and so on. And they come to Intuit. They learn all about self-taught and outsider art with the purpose of them integrating what they learn here into their lesson.
It's a phenomenal program. It allows teachers the chance to really dive deep into learning about outsider artists, to carefully have the actual time to plan, to collaborate and work together, which is something that's missing in a lot of programs.
And over, we hear from teachers that students love this artwork. They connect with it, they understand the materials, they make with the materials. There is this emotional connection that comes so easily from showing the works, telling the stories, and from teachers doing that themselves in the classroom.
If it had not been for the program, my students would never have known who an outsider art. I would have, because like I said, I pass the museum every time outsider art is. And it would just get lost, I think. So I think programs like this that really focus on the minority within a minority is essential to promoting, cultural understanding, history, and really students can kind of see themselves in the work as well.
They actually saw a relationship between themselves and the self-taught artists, because a lot of them feel like they are somewhat self-taught, even though they are in, the classroom. Some of them didn't even have art in elementary school. So whatever they're learning now is new to them, and they feel like it is something that they are teaching themselves or working themselves through.
And on top of that, really allows teachers autonomy to create things that are meaningful, that are student-centered, that are planned and purposeful for their students without being put in a box with any boundaries that may stifle that creativity.
This one with the kids that were older has found objects. I just helped them. You could see some of the material already had imperfection, so to say, but we just cut them up. We didn't even clean it. We just used the pieces as they were. And I tell them, see, you could have just thrown this away. Now it's a piece of art that we have in our room. And the kid, when he comes in, he always sees it. I know he always looks at it, because I look and, kids look around.
Being offered the access to a budget is huge when so many of our schools have zero budget. It's just been so meaningful. And as long as I can get myself in this program, I will gladly do so, because it has been life-changing for me and my students.
I'm Deb Carr, president of Intuit, and I'm here with Tracy Holmes, president of the board.
For 30 years, Intuit has been a place where people of all ages are encouraged to see incredible art, learn amazing real-life stories, and reflect on the human experience. Intuit's current exhibition, Trauma and Loss, Reflection and Hope, has wonderful examples of those experiences, including this one next to me by Benissa Cohen, whose art is informed by her survival from the 1915 Armenian Holocaust. Deb, you might not remember this, but my first experience here at Intuit was when you invited me to visit, and Benissa Cohen's exhibit was in the back room.
I hadn't remembered that, Tracy, but it was really one of the most meaningful exhibits that we've done since I've been here. Really powerful.
I loved it. I think that her story is one of survival and perseverance and reinvention. And those are all things that we can carry with us today. And I love that Intuit gives us the space to do it together.
Thanks, Tracy. In the last year, the museum empowered hundreds of elementary and high school students on virtual field trips. Folks from all over who needed a restorative, creative time engaged with artists like Marvin Tate, who did the most fun art after work using everyday objects, a hanger, plastic spoons, and cardboard. Hundreds returned to Intuit in person to experience Intuit's profound exhibitions and share a visit with friends or family members for maybe the first time in a year.
Right. As a supporter of Intuit, you understand the life-changing effect of Intuit's programs. At Intuit, you've seen art that possibly you wouldn't have seen anywhere else. And you understand the importance of sharing this art with students, teachers, and audiences around the world. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us.
Tonight, please join Tracy and me in making a donation to sustain these critical programs: exhibitions, the Teacher Fellowship Program, Intuit Teams, educational outreach, and public learning events, the programs that shape us and connect us. In addition to the wine or cocktail package you may be enjoying from home, please consider making an additional generous donation to benefit the audiences around the world who rely on Intuit and the resources and call this their favorite museum. Currently, we've raised $101,000 of our goal. Please keep going. We need your help to raise more dollars and make this a successful 30th year for Intuit.
We're going to take a brief 1-minute pause in the program to give you a chance to donate if you haven't done so yet. Intuit staff are adding the Visionary Ball donate link to the chat bar right now. Visit the secure donate link using your computer or cell phone, or make your gift by phone by calling 312-624-9487. That phone number is also being added to the chat bar. You may prefer to make your gift through our donor advice fund. That's great. Please notify us about that intention and the donation amount to the chat, or by emailing Intuit at intuit.art.org to commit your pledge so we can count your donation tonight. Thank you for making a meaningful gift.
Okay, before we pause, I'm sending out a happy birthday, yes, today on Intuit's birthday, to Intuit Board Treasurer Patrick Blackburn. Happy birthday, Patrick.
Happy birthday, Patrick.
Please stay for a message from two very special guests at the conclusion of the program following this brief 1-minute pause. See you soon.
Hooray! Now that we have your attention, we have another amazing update. $103,000. Thank you all. Right now we're going to recognize some of our donors who have donated during our program this evening.
John Anderson and Phyllis Rebineau, Sue Kessler, Jenny Stiegthaler, Charles and Minna Taylor, Christina Horton, Melissa Smith, Eva and Paul Stefanski, Michael Sullivan, Riley Yaxley, John Thayer, Dana Bhutan, Chris and Sarah Julesrud, Nicholas Lowe. Why don't you read these last ones?
Oh, well, thank you, Techie. Jenny and Jeffrey Wolf, Amy Meadows, Tamara Allen and Rocio Garcia, Jenny and Mark Freeland. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's not too late to donate. We'll be accepting Visionary Ball gifts through the end of next week. So thank you for your support.
Now, I want to let you know that this will be the last time you see us.
Oh.
And it has been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Being with you.
Yes, Techie, I've had such a great time. And you, don't forget, don't go anywhere. We have enjoyed us. You will enjoy a special message from our surprise guests, Chicago-based creatives, Nick Cave and Bob Faust. So stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you.
When I think about the next 30 years for Intuit, like the first 30 were so amazing that this visionary group of people identified Chicago as the place, that this had so much under the surface that should be shared and marked as Chicago.
There's no other way but to go forward with that, knowing that the space is going to open up and offer this sort of broader sort of scope in terms of more rotating exhibitions, the sort of private collection and And just sort of these moments where, conversations can be had with, contemporary artists interfacing with outsider artists.
Yeah, I think that it's proof that art is not elitist by nature, right? Mm-hmm. It's proof that we all have that in us to some degree or other, and the more that you're open to it, the more that it could come out.
And I think it's about, it's about support, it's about sort of outreach, ways in which, how can you find yourself sort of committing to this sort of extraordinary organization. Happy 30-year birthday.
What is it? 3, right? 30?
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Good to see you again. We're your co-chairs, Ralph Concepcion
and Tanetta Cayenne.
And we thank you all for watching tonight's Visionary Ball from home here in Chicago, in Milwaukee, San Francisco, Santa Fe, London, or wherever around the world you're tuning in from to celebrate Intuit. Thank you, Visionary Ball sponsors who made tonight's event and Intuit's wonderful programming possible. Thank you, Jean Ruddy and Victor Keene, Janet and Craig Dusherswab, Ashley and Mike Joyce, Jean and Louis Greenblatt,
John Jarrett, Deb Carr and Steve Thompson, Jan Petrie, Douglas Robson, Robert A. Roth, John Seagren, and Scott Lang, Janet Williams, and Ralph Concepcion.
Hey, that's me.
Yes.
Thank you to Chicagoland's Wine and Cocktail Fairy, Ravenswood Events, it's me again, and AV Chicago. And finally, thanks to the Visionary Ball Host Committee and the fabulous Intuit staff.
Thank you
for being Intuit
with us for the last 30 years, and we look forward to the next 30 years to come. Be sure to sign up for Intuit's bi-monthly email newsletter on our website at www.art.org and follow us on social media using the handle @Intuit Art Center. There's a program for everyone at Intuit, and we hope you'll encourage your family and friends to join us online or in person real soon.
Now, please stick around. You'll be automatically invited to return to your breakout room for a little socializing. And please continue bidding on the silent auction items. The silent auction closes at 9 p.m. Central Time tonight. Happy bidding and good night.
Good night.
See you tomorrow. Okay. There is. Thank you so much. I didn't have to start. Gotta do it again. Gotta do it again. Chris and Sarah in Santa Fe. Yeah. Wow. Can't say what happened.